Barb. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone, on this Monday. Here's our top story. Concerns are growing for the safety of patients and healthcare workers as planned anti-vaccine protests are expected to happen outside of hospitals right across the country today. Our reporter Faiza Amin standing by outside one Toronto hospital where we are expecting some crowds. Faiza, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mel. We are outside Toronto General Hospital, a bit on the quiet side this morning, but there's much concern about what's to come later today. You just mentioned these protests taking place in a number of provinces across the country, protesting and demonstrating against pandemic protocols, holding what one group is calling silent vigils, and they say it will be peaceful. But we have seen similar protests just recently after the announcement of vaccine passports in a number of provinces where ambulances and healthcare workers were blocked from getting inside of hospitals. So healthcare workers and officials here in Ontario say that these protests should not be happening outside medical facilities and especially hospitals. Here's more.
These are not the first. I have been in touch with the Premier since last weekend. I begged the Premier already last weekend to take actions.
The people caring for those individuals who are sick and the people that are being yelled at as they cross the street are the same healthcare workers that'll save your life if you get sick, because that's our job.
And politicians also tweeting their concerns about these protests. Mayor John Tory saying, I absolutely condemn anyone taking part in this so-called protest. You're doing nothing to help people. We have long passed the time when we can have this tyranny of a few interfere with access to health care during a pandemic. Premier Doug Ford saying the protests we're seeing outside of hospitals are selfish, cowardly, and reckless. Our healthcare workers have sacrificed so much to keep us all safe during the pandemic. They don't deserve this kind of treatment. Not now, not ever. We do know that Toronto police expected to be on hand here at the hospital later today. They say charges will be laid if necessary. And there's also calls to create safe zones around hospitals from anti-vaccine protesters, calling on Premier Doug Ford to put in place legislation that would prevent protests taking place outside here. Mel, as you mentioned, these protests taking place at a number of hospitals across Canada. We're talking about BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, and Quebec. So we're standing by here for the latest.
All right, Faiza, thank you so much for that. We're going to check back in with you a little bit later on this morning. Appreciate it. So we are not even a week into the school year, and Toronto Public Health now saying it is investigating multiple COVID-19 cases in local schools. So cases found at Fraser Mustard Early Learning Academy, that's in Thorncliffe Park, St. Michel French Catholic Elementary School, and West Hill Collegiate, both in Scarborough. Health officials have not said how many cases identified in each school. Impacted students and families have been notified. Those who have been contacted asked to stay home and monitor for symptoms. Meanwhile, another pop-up vaccine clinic opening up today at a major transit hub in the city. There's a 5-day pop-up happening at Union Station from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. this week. A pop-up TTC bus vaccine clinic, that's also going to be at Rexdale Library this afternoon from 2 to 6 p.m. And these clinics are part of the city's mobile strategy to help get vaccines to residents in areas that have low vaccination coverage. Starting today, public service workers will begin following new vaccine policies here. Staff and with the City of Toronto, I should say, and Toronto's public police service now need to disclose and provide proof that they are fully vaccinated against the virus. Those who fail to do so must attend mandatory education on the benefits of vaccination and then show proof of first dose no later than September the 30th, second by October the 30th. Toronto Public Health recently reporting that since May, those who are not fully vaccinated making up over 98% of hospitalized COVID cases. Well, the Blue Jays vaccine requirement, that goes into effect today. What it means, all fans, staff, and guests 12 and above entering Rogers Centre must either show proof of full vaccination or a negative COVID test. And it comes amid a major winning streak for the Jays. Teams winning 14 of their last 16. And coming up at 7:20, we're going to break things down with their run with Sportsnet's Dan Schulman. So that is coming up. Let's talk politics now on the federal election front. It is the last day that Canadians can cast their ballots at advanced polls, and we are just 1 week away from Election Day. So if you want to vote today, polls are open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And to make that process easier, try to bring that voter information card if you got that one along with a piece of ID. Also, you can vote at any Elections Canada office. They do tend to have fewer voters than some of the advanced polling stations. So if you're looking for another option, those offices are open until tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Tuesday is also the cutoff for people to apply to vote by mail. Elections Canada saying that over 1.3 million Canadians cast their ballot on Friday, the first day that advanced polls opened up. You can go to our website, citynews.ca, for more info on this, by the way. Meantime, it is the final week on the campaign trail for the federal party leaders. Here's where they are. Justin Trudeau making an announcement in Vancouver at 10:30 this morning. Conservative leader Erin O'Toole also making an announcement at 11 a.m. This is in Ottawa, and it's going to be followed up by a town hall, a virtual town hall in the evening. The NDP's Jagmeet Singh will be speaking in Ontario this morning. And Green leader Annamie Paul is heading to Atlantic Canada. She's going to be meeting with supporters and touring parts of the province through the day. All right, your time is 6:10, just turned. Coming up next, Cineplex heading to court in a $2 billion lawsuit against Cineworld. Why? Mike Epple. Details up next.